All right, so we are joined by Jackson's own owner, founder, and as she says, the SEO of the Honey Factory Skincare Company right here in Jackson, Kennedy Jones, one of the most up and coming entrepreneurs in the Jackson area. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you all for having me. I'm really excited to speak with you all today.
Awesome. And I've got a room full here with me at Velma Jackson High School. It's our entrepreneurship class, and we're recording this for our friends at Madison Central, Ridgeland High School, Germantown High School, the Academic Options Center, and our YouTube channel. So before we get into all it is that you do, because you've got a lot going on right now, you are a graduate of Jackson State University. You are a local product, and that led to where you are now. So talk about your high school college experience as it prepared you to be a business owner.
Okay, well, high school was nice. High school was nice, but my skin was bad. So I enjoyed high school. I think it really prepared me for college. I was in the IB program at Jim Hill High School, um, the best high school in the
Where I
JP
started my career.
is. Yes, but yes, I had really bad skin in high school. It was a mix of hormonal acne, puberty, eczema, and just having my family genetically has bad skin. So it wasn't something that we were surprised to see, but it did take a toll on my self-esteem and self-confidence in some ways sometimes. But I was just really determined to find something that worked for me when I got to college. I went to college at Jackson State University and I majored in biology with a concentration in environmental science. And that helped me create a research background and also to start my journey of academia as it pertains to studying and really conducting experiments, excuse me. So that's where my chemistry, research, experimental background came from. And I was so glad that my alma mater prepared me for my line of work now. It was actually such a blessing because there were so many people that I got a chance to connect with, and even professors and faculty and staff that helped me along this journey. And I'm 100% grateful for both Jim Hill and Jackson State.
That's awesome. And I have nothing but good things to say about Jim Hill as well. That's where I started my teaching career. And then after that, that's led you now. You've started the Honey Factory. So like most of these kids may not know your science background and your history with bad skin, which you talk about on your website, led you to this idea to make a quality product. Because you sell men's products, you sell women's products, you sell products that can help anyone's skin, no matter what tone or type it is. So, how did it lead to that? To not just specialize in one type? How did it lead to having just a wide array of skin products?
Well, I myself suffer from both dry skin and oily skin. I have eczema and I also have an oily skin type. So if you suffer from eczema, you know how dry and flaky it can make your skin or your scalp. And so it would just not benefit me much or anyone else much to just have a product that is geared toward one specific skin type because you have oily, you have normal, dry combination. And I wanted my brand to be something that everyone can use. You don't have to shy away from any of my products based on your skin type because we have products formulated for your specific skin type. So I didn't want to leave anyone out, including myself.
Yep. And now, and something that's to me is really impressive. You have a very well put together website. You got a great logo designed to where it really is catchy. Because let's face it, you're in a very competitive market. There's a lot of skin companies out there, but you've done a lot to help yourself stand out. So talk a little bit about your website design, your logo design, and your packaging, because that really is a small detail that makes such a big difference with entrepreneurs.
Okay, so once I started brainstorming on what the aesthetic of Honey Factory was going to be, I wanted it to be something that was not only eye-catching, but I wanted it to embody the purpose of my brand.
Yep.
I want my products to be on shelves in stores. And so, of course, I have to make them look presentable in order for them to be on shelves because there are hundreds of other skincare products on these same shelves. So I have to really dig deep, try to figure out what it is about Honey Factory that stands out. And it stands out in itself. It's very clean, neat packaging. I wanted the labels to be small, actually, like rectangular labels, because I wanted the customers to be able to see the product from the outside of the package.
That's a great idea.
So, yeah, so if you've ever purchased anything from me, our bars of soap, you can see what they look like from the outside. Our toners and our oils, you can see what they look like from the outside. And that was very important to me because majority of the time when we purchase things, we purchase them in a box. It's kind of hard to see what it looks like, or the label is hiding whatever it is on the inside of the container. So, and that's not saying that the product is not good, but that's what helps Honey Factory stand out.
Yeah.
So a lot of thought went into my label design process, my packaging design process. I wanted cylinder bottles because oftentimes we just have regular bottles, and I wanted my bottles to stand out. I wanted you to see it and say, oh, that's Honey Factory. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and it really is small things that create that perceived value, even though you are getting a great product when you buy the Honey Factory. The small things like that could set you apart from a competitor, which we've talked a lot about in this class and with our other guests. Now, one way that you've marketed yourself is really cool. You don't have a physical location, but you do a lot of pop-up shops at very well-attended events, whether it be Jackson State games, events in New Orleans, events in, I know you've been Memphis, Atlanta, all over the place, and also a ton of things here locally. So what was the strategy behind that? Because some people have said, I need to have a physical location because some people like going in and holding things. Obviously, you have a very high traffic website, but you do have a presence in the community of having the pop-up shops at these events.
Mm-hmm. So the purpose of me doing pop-up shops is to increase brand awareness and to also get my brand and my name out there. I'm always representing my business, whether I'm wearing a t-shirt, I'm talking about products, I'm suggesting something to someone or recommending something to someone. So the pop-up shops are my way of getting out into the community to show them what I offer, what we have to offer, and not to always get people to buy things, but just to show up. So I may do a pop-up shop, but me participating in that pop-up shop, of course, costs money. There's a vendor fee. That vendor fee can be donated to a charity. It can be donated to an organization, or it can make someone who has just the idea of sharing a pop-up shop or sharing a space where vendors can come and sell their products, that can put food on their table. So it's like you're giving back to the community in so many different ways. And I think it's just such a blessing to be able to be a part of it, as well as market and brand my business at the same time. With me not having a physical location, it has not really stopped any of my motion, period. So I'm happy to be able to be a part of things like pop-up shops and vendor markets and things of that nature. But it's been so rewarding because I always get to see my supporters and anyone who supports me and shops with me. I get to see them in person. And so that just gives me a different vibe. And it also keeps me going. You know, it's different from shipping products out. And never seeing the people that are supporting you versus people actually coming to visit you or coming and showing up to pop-up shops that you're attending and shopping with you. So I love it.
Yeah, and then with the proper market research, you can still have repeat customers at pop-up shops because if you know where your target market is going to be, you plan ahead and you know that it's going to be a lot of the same clientele at those areas.
Right.
Now, one thing you've done also that I see a lot of young business owners not do well, especially young Black business owners, is they really don't charge enough. And I know they get sick of me talking about this, but it's such a big deal. And it's a very common mistake. So you see a lot of young business owners, 16, 17, 18 years old, and they're just thinking with a high school mindset. You know, I want to be the most affordable product there is. And you don't want to price yourself out of the market, but you also, if you don't charge enough, you're not making any money.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in your case, when you're focusing on product quality, product packaging, and you're putting in a lot of time and research on the science side of this. So how do you keep yourself competitive while also not underselling yourself with quality and still being competitive in this market?
So I did market value research before I even launched my brand. And that's basically seeing what other people in the industry or other competitors in the industry are selling the same products or similar products for. What's their base price? What's the highest price? What's the retail price? And trying to find a median in there that feels comfortable for the quality and efficiency of the product that you offer, as well as factoring in all of your overhead costs like packaging, labels, shipping materials, and things like that, as well as the ingredients. Ingredients play a big part in how much my products in specific cost because I use quality ingredients. So I don't use tap water. I use distilled water. I don't just use Dawn dishwashing liquid to sanitize my equipment and my materials. I use actual sanitizing tablets, and those cost a lot of money. So things like that, if I know that I'm spending a lot of money to put into my business, of course I have to be rewarded a lot of money when people are purchasing. And I don't think that my prices are high because I've seen so many other competitors sell stuff that's like way higher than mine. But I do know the value of my brand and my business, and I have to make sure that, bottom line, I gotta get mine. I'm looking at it. I'm really looking at it as like, where do I want to be in 10 years from now? I can't sell $10 moisturizer knowing that I'm spending over $20 to make it happen.
Wow.
So I still have to make sure that I have my baseline covered, my packaging, my labels, my production, and I have to pay myself as well. So it's a lot that goes into it, but it's also, you should expect a lot to come out of it as well. And if you think your prices are too high, you can set up value propositions, which something like a survey. Ask people of your target audience, what would you pay for this? That's really simple, honestly. What would you pay for this? And you also have to market yourself in the price range that you expect. In my opinion, my brand is a luxury brand. You
Yep.
get an experience from Honey Factory. You don't just get moisturizer or soap or anything like that. You get an experience from it, and the products work. So that in itself, you have to have a certain baseline of what you're not gonna go below. So
Yeah, and
that's
that's one.
pretty
And
much
that's
how.
another thing you've done a great job of. I mean, obviously it helps when you're as beautiful as you are, but you've shown before and after pictures of how the product works, and it's not, you don't just use yourself, you use other customers, and they provide the testimonials. So it really does give that visual of showing, here's what my skin looked like, here's what it changed to.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do a lot of testimonials on my social media because I want to show people that the products actually work. And I understand people being skeptical of products that they've never used before. They're spending money on something that may not even work for their skin. So I just want to provide them with proof that this is what this product did and this is how long it took and things like that. I'm never going to shy away from showing people the process that it took to get clear skin or to get better skin or more healthy skin, because a lot of times I've seen people just show this and then that. They didn't tell you how they had to go to the dermatologist 3 or 4 times before they got to their clear skin. They didn't tell you about how they tried 3 or 4 different products that didn't work for them before they found the product that did. Or they didn't show how the product that ended up working for them broke them out first and then eventually started working. So I just want to be transparent about each and every single journey that I go through so that my customers know what to expect as well.
Yeah, and then and another thing that, I mean, I'm sure you already know this. You know, you talk about the dermatologist. Your product is going to cost way less than the top dermatology
Mhm.
uh, drugs. So
Yes.
that is another huge selling point to these people that say, you know, I went to the dermatologist and it didn't work. Well, I can give you something that works and it costs 1/5 of what you paid for that drug. It probably.
Right. Right. Topicals can be very expensive, especially when they come from dermatologists, because if you don't have insurance, it can be through the roof.
Absolutely. Now, before we get to these students' questions, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about this recognition you guys that you just received. So talk a little bit about, you know, you were just recognized as one of the top business owners in Jackson. So talk a little bit about
Yes.
how that came into play and what all's going on with that.
So I was featured in the October release of the Jacksonian Media magazine. by Dorian Ducksworth and his team, and it was an amazing experience. I was so happy and honored to even be asked to be featured on the cover and to do an article with them. Um, it came at the perfect time because I cannot lie to y'all. Sometimes being a business owner, it does get pretty heavy. You have to take breaks. You have to make sure your mental is right, you're healthy physically, because if you can't pour into your business, you're not going to get the best results out of it. And I was in a space where the work kind of seemed repetitive. So the best way for things to not get repetitive or to not seem so repetitive is to start doing new things and speaking publicly about my brand. I've always done it from a social media aspect, but to have someone interviewing you, asking you specific questions, putting yourself out there, that was a whole different experience for me. So I was very, very elated that I even got the opportunity to do so, but also it was like a milestone for me. Like, it's only gonna continue to go up from here.
And there were some heavy hitters in that article. So
Yes.
I was really impressed with the ones they had, and I was glad to see you on there because you were one of the newer businesses that was featured. You just celebrated the 1 year anniversary where you had the big promotion, and it
Hmm.
really worked out.
Yes. Thank you.
You're very welcome. But I got some questions here from students, and these are all seniors. This first one is Justin Clerk, and he asked, "Is there a certain type of skin that your product is harder, that your product has to work harder to change?"
Okay. Justin, that is a really good question. Yes, some people have skin complications. When I say skin complications, I mean they may have like dry skin here, they may have oily T-zone or something like that, which are very, serious to you if you're dealing with them on the daily. But they can be treated usually pretty quickly, as opposed to you having like full-fledged acne, hormonal acne, or sudden breakouts out of nowhere and things like that. So um, I have customers who have skin ailments such as lupus or psoriasis. And as we know, lupus is an autoimmune disease. It attacks your immune system and it makes your body weak. It also flares up your skin. So you can get rashes, you can get these huge patches of like irritated skin and pimples sometimes. And I formulated the Milk and Manuka bar, which is one of my signature cleansers. It's also my best seller. I formulated the Milk and Manuka bar to be targeted towards skin that is irritated. So that's redness, that's dry skin, that's flaky skin, that's skin that itches. I had to do a lot of research about the ingredients that I put into it, such as goat's milk. The fatty acids in goat's milk help to soothe the irritation. Manuka honey is antibacterial and antimicrobial. So it also helps your skin, it nourishes your skin from the outside in. And things like that just really, I was very happy to see the results. And I knew it was going to work because I knew the science behind it. But to see someone else trust me that much with skin ailments that serious, it was it was major for me.
Yeah, and that's some serious stuff, and that's got to be rewarding to see how people's whole self esteem can change because of their appearance.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Milk and Manuka is some serious stuff. This is Brian Perry, and he asked, "How did you discover you had a gift in treating skincare?"
Hi, Brian. Basically, my skin was messed up. Like, if Greg, you can show them my Instagram. The Honey Factory Instagram is one of the pinned posts. My skin was terrible in high school. I had bumps everywhere and they were painful.
Yeah.
So some people just have acne where it's like uncomfortable to look at or uncomfortable to deal with. But some people have acne that is painful, that hurts to touch, that hurts when you wash your face or it hurts when you go to sleep on it. So I was experiencing that, and I was tired of, for one, my self esteem being affected by the way that my skin was, and for two, the pain that I felt from my actual blemishes. So I basically became my own test dummy. I was like, I'm gonna find me something that works for me, and I just kept at it. Like, I experimented with things that made my skin break out even worse, or it was a journey. Let me tell you, but I kept at it, and once I started, um digging in deep when it came to research and things like that, that's what really stuck. I can always read something online and see, oh, so they say this is good for oily skin, but is it good for my skin? And after researching and formulating for, I want to say, almost 2 years, I started using it on, or allowing other people like my family, my cousins, my friends, and things like that to use the products on themselves. And once I saw that it was working on somebody other than just me, that's what really sold me on it.
Yeah, and I think that's important for anybody, no matter what you're developing. It's important to not get in a rush, because some people, they want the money so quick. I want the money now, but it's way better to have something is going to work than something you think is going to work and you haven't tested it out. That could be a financial disaster.
Yes, take your time. If y'all don't remember anything else from me, take your time. When you take your time with something on the front end, it's so much less of a headache on the back end. It's less things you're running around to fix. There are less things that you're running around to change. Because if you take your time with it, test it out, see if it works for you, see if it works for other people. And this is not with just even skincare. This could be your schoolwork, anything. Just take your time.
Yeah. This is Octavia Johnson, and she asked, "What do you enjoy most about being an entrepreneur?"
Hi, Octavia. The part that I enjoy most is being able to. It's so many different parts. I'm gonna give y'all my top three. So number one is being able to set my own schedule. I have to hold myself accountable for that though. So it's not like I'm an entrepreneur. I don't have to work today. Being an entrepreneur, you have to work every day after hours. A regular job is 9 to 5. I may be working 12 to 12, 12 a.m., 12 p.m., 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. Like even just now with Black Friday, because I'm prepping for Black Friday coming up, I cannot tell y'all the last time I went to bed before 12 o'clock at night. It's been a journey, but it all pays off in the end. Yeah. So number one would be definitely being able to set my own schedule. Number two would be seeing my supporters. I created a brand and a company, and as well as a community. So it's really good to see other people who enjoy skincare, who enjoy taking care of their self and practicing good self hygiene. So being able to be a part of a community that I created and meeting my supporters who, share the same goals and dreams as me. And number three would just be seeing what I can create. Like I have made so many different soaps that I've never released, but it's just the fun and just seeing what you can create and being in a creative space that allows you to express yourself and for you to be able to have a physical product from your research.
Oh yeah. Anytime there's anything tangible, it's got to be awesome.
Yeah.
This is Miles Woodard, and this is a good segue. He asked, have you ever thought about doing custom items for a specific customer?"
Hi, Miles. I have. I've actually created a wedding soap loaf for bridesmaids this past year. So she wanted a specific scent, she wanted a specific color. I designed the labels for her. I packaged everything up really nicely so for her bridesmaids, for her to put them in their gifts. So that was really fun. It was a really fun experience, being able to do the planning for it, because we had to plan for it months in advance to make sure I had all the colors, the scents, the materials that she wanted, and things like that. And it was just honestly, it was great.
That's
No
awesome.
complaints from me.
But again, that's a great selling point, because you could, that worked the first time. You could sell that custom items for your bridal party. The wedding business is a big money business, and if you can break into that is a huge revenue stream, a huge revenue potential, and potential customers as well that would buy on a regular basis. So that is a great idea.
Yes, I agree.
This is Shania Charleston, and she asked, "How often do you come up with new items?"
Hi, Shania. I'm always making something new. I've made new products a year ago that I've never released. I'll just give y'all an example. When the winter months get dry last year, I was having chapped lips and things like that. I made a lip scrub. I love the lip scrub. Have I ever released the lip scrub? Not yet. But it just goes to show you, like, if it's a problem that I have with my skin, and if I know or have an idea of how I can fix it, I'll create a new product like that. So
Awesome. I just got one more from the students. This is a Marion Bolden, and he asked, how did you come up with the name of your company?
hi, I'm Ariane. So I use my bestseller has Manuka honey, and that was the very first product that I made was my milk and Manuka bar. And so when I started, I thought all of my products were gonna have honey in it. I'm just being real with you. I thought every single product that I made was gonna have honey in it. However, upon doing more research, I feel like it wasn't really necessarily needed in every single product, especially with the type of skin ailments that I was targeting. But I still loved the aesthetic of how the browns, the shades of browns, the honeys and things like that make my brand look. So it's Honey Factory Cosmetics because if you Google different kinds of honey, there are going to be honeys that are white, there are going to be honeys that are black, there are going to be honeys that are all shades in between. And those are the same shades of the customers that shop with me. So it's something for everybody. Honey Factory Cosmetics, it has something for everyone.
Yeah, and the bunch last year, they were shocked that you actually do use honey in a lot of your products.
Yes, I do.
So that's kind of cool. Well, we're almost out of time, and we thank you so much as always for joining us. But before we go, you're not much older than these kids, and you're not much older than any of the kids that are going to see this later. But you're right here in the Jackson area. You grew up in Jackson as a young Black woman, and and you're doing some amazing things. So what can these kids do now to follow in your footsteps and become great Black business owners like yourself?
I would say find your niche. Find the area that you feel like you will excel in. It doesn't have to be anything tangible. It could be something like giving advice. If you're really good in being a helping hand or a friend. I have cohorts and classmates that have started nonprofit organizations. I have friends that are on their way to get their PhD for psychology and psychiatry, friends that are getting their PhD in occupational therapy. And it's things like when you know deep down inside that this is what feels like home to you, I would say go off of that. If it's something that feels good to you, if it's a business owner, if it is a company that you can be an asset to, if you're really good in math, if you're really good in science, capitalize off that. See what about those subjects and what about those areas of expertise make you the happiest, because that's number one. Find what makes you happy and make money off of it.
There you go. Now, before we go, tell us where to find you online, the honeyfactoryco.com.
Yeah, so my website is www.honeyfactoryco.com. You can also follow us on social media on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. It's at Honey Factory Co.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for fitting this in your busy schedule. Just amazing advice, great product. The SEO founder and creator of the Honey Factory Cosmetics right here in Jackson, Kennedy Jones. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you all for having me. Have a great day.
And have a great Thanksgiving. Talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
See ya.